So, Alfie, I totally get you, and I'm grateful that you said that, because this is flipping hard. I never tell anybody these stories, and I'm doing it here. So, China. You want to hear about China?
I do want to hear about China.
This is the reason I left that beloved job that I was in. So in that small agency. So I found that I was super comfortable. I knew what I was doing. I was getting the pats on the head that I need as an individual to feel my self-worth. But I was also seeing that I lived in someone's pool house. We only had one car. I wanted to buy a house. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to move on with my life, and I couldn't. We were stuck in a rut. Both my husband and I were in comfortable work positions, but not in any position to actually move forward. We would look at apartments. We would look at houses. We couldn't afford any of it. And he was sick at home one day, and I got a message on Facebook from friends who had moved to Beijing the previous year to be school teachers. Pre-pandemic, guys, this was at least, 5-7 years ago. And their school was looking for teachers, and I was like, And so I phoned up Colin. I was like, how do you feel? I didn't phone him. I actually texted him. I was like, how do you feel about China? How do you feel about teaching kids in China? And he was like, cool, let's do it. When do you ever find a person that's like, I'm going to give up my architectural illustration job and we're going to go to within, he's amazing. Have I said this already? But I adore him. He's amazing. He is my kind of crazy. So we did the interview, we got the job, and we packed up our little house and our car, and within 2 months we were in Beijing.
Sure.
I'd convinced 2 of our friends to come with us who were newly married.
You're in the wrong industry.
And they actually landed one day before us. Yeah. So within 2 months we were all teaching toddlers in Beijing. Well, not toddlers. Cal taught my husband taught an older age group. They were about 5, but still little kids. No previous Mandarin experience. No, I asked all the questions. I did all the research that I possibly could, and it still didn't prepare me for what it was like getting there and actually living in Beijing for a year. But it was the reset and the kind of the rut remover that I needed for my life then, and I look back on it as one of the most pivotal experiences of my life, and I always will. I have this soft, wonderful, warm, little red and gold place in my heart that is China, and despite the complexities of the government and the levels of control that are there for the Chinese people and all their history and all that ugly stuff, there is I love China. I love the food. I love the people. My Mandarin's pretty rubbish, but it afforded us the opportunity to have a look at our lives in a completely different way, and a look at the world in a completely different way. They're like nothing before.
Amazing.
It was phenomenal. I mean, they've closed China down for teachers for the moment, but if you are looking at doing something like that as a reset, we met so many friends at different ages who chose to do this as a reset in their own lives. It kind of attracts an interesting kind of person to kind of make this shift in there, and to go and teach in that way. But just the culture, the people, the languages. I mean, we went to because the salaries were so excellent as English teachers in China, we went to the Philippines for my 30th birthday. Not fancy Philippines, but Philippines isn't fancy. But we were able to travel. Yeah. We could take the holidays. We went to Hong Kong, we went to Vietnam, we went to Thailand. So we did since we were in that area of the world, we lent into Southeast Asia and just experienced all of it, and it was just phenomenal.
I have one question.
Cool.
Why did you come back? Because all of that sounds amazing.
I know, right? It's so being a teacher in China can be like Never Never Land. You can stay there forever, and people have. I mean, we were working with teachers who had been there for 17 years.
Wow.
Teaching and earning, and like they'd married locals, and that was just their life now, and it was very attractive. And I could have. It was kind of like not a split door. I don't know. There was always this niggling thing, and there has always been this niggling thing about I want a home and I want a family. And for me, that just wasn't possible in Beijing. The air pollution is a very real thing that you deal with daily. So you have an app on your phone that's connected to the weather bureau, where you have to check the PM 2.5 particles. So those are the tiny particles that actually go into your lungs. And that's from the carbon emissions and those kinds of things. The pollution's that bad. So you have to wear a mask if it's over like 150, and like the school gets closed down if it's over 500. And I couldn't, and they actually don't know how that affects children just yet. So there aren't enough studies to then show how it affects kids.
Scary.
And I couldn't in good conscience bring a child into that environment. And also, like in China, as a foreigner, it's not like I needed to own property. I just needed a place that was my own, you know. And that was possible. We had a beautiful little apartment, and like we were navigating China pretty well, in terms of like the day-to-day getting groceries and water and all of those things. I mean, Beijing is a metropolis. You know, so we could find tacos, and we could find we got really good at like spending lots of money on Western food, because that was like a comfort. But why did we leave? My passport was expired. So I'm a dual citizen, so I have a German and South African citizenship, and my South African passport was expiring. And if I'd applied for it from there, it would have taken 8 months, which would have been too long. And so I had to come home regardless of whether we stayed home or went back. And I mean, we made this decision as a couple, but I think it may have been kind of influenced by me, was that like I missed home. I missed my family. I missed, this was the opportunity to kind of make a little bit of money, have a bit of savings, and come home and like step back into life. And if you stay in Beijing for too long, if you stay for 17 years, then you are you're an unqualified kindergarten teacher for forever, you know? And so being a graphic designer, being my husband was an architectural illustrator, we couldn't stay for very long and still expect to come back and go back into our professions.